Hey Flosstube, how's it going? This is Sinead and this is my little stitchy buddy. This is Fenrir. Say hello, Fenrir. Say hello. Everybody was showing their stitchy buddies recently. And I know you heard him in my last video and I thought he might like to say hello. Isn't he lovely? I have Fenrir's birthday is next week. We will have him a year from the rescue centre. So he's about 2.5 years old, little Westy Cross. The only difference is his little floppy ears. He's my best friend, aren't you? Didn't have much to say today. But that's Fenrir. I put him down now. Now, sweetheart. So the story of Fenrir's name is an interesting one. I didn't name him. My daughter did. I wanted to call him Elvis because he does this thing with his lip all the time. But she was insistent that the dog was going to be called Fenrir, even I think before we got him, which is what makes it so ironic because Fenrir is a dog from Norse mythology and it's something to do with Thor's brother Loki. This dog is, the description in Norse mythology is monstrous wolf and destroyer of Odin. And like, he's like this big. But anyway, that's his name and he answers to it. I'm just petting him under the table because I put him down and now he's angry. He's a lovely little fella. He's my stitchy pal. So I've loads to go through in this video today. I actually made notes. So let's see if I can stick to them all. So the first thing I have is a finish. I said it last time that I was pretty sure I was going to have it done the day after my last video. It turned out to be a couple of days, but you know, it was there. It's my Ireland sampler. And I'm very pleased with this. I think it's my best piece yet. Can we see? Now, so you remember the last time all I had to do was finish this part here, which is like the cable stitches. And I think they turned out really well. Tiny little bit of fudging, but you know, it's nothing that'll notice it unless I've pointed it out, and now you probably have. So that's the Ireland sampler from Just Cross Stitch. I think it was April 2017. Stitched on 32 count even weave, and I loved doing this, really loved it. I see more samplers in my future, I think. Really loved it. All the different stitches in it were great. It was fun to do, definitely fun to do, and that I have to wash it and press it, and then I'm going to frame it and hang it up in my little holiday home that I have down on the southeast coast of Ireland. Yeah, loved stitching that one. So whips, I have my Disney villains. I've got a good bit done on this because they're little characters. They go by very quickly. So this is where I am so far. I'm almost done. So since I last showed this to you, I have done this guy here. I can't remember his name. I keep thinking of Sense, but he's from The Princess and the Frog. I've done Scar from The Lion King. I have done this woman here whose name I can't remember. She's the baddie in The Rescuers. Done this guy who's the bad guy from Pinocchio. I've done Gaston. Look at his eyebrow. Love that eyebrow. And I've done his little sidekick from Beauty and the Beast. And I have Cinderella's wicked stepmother and one of the ugly sisters done. So I just have to do the second ugly sister on that side, and then I have to finish the ear on this side with Madame Mim, love her. So I think I have maybe one, maybe two, three more characters to do, I think, and then it's done. So it's coming out, I think I'm really, and I have a lot of white filling to do as well because I hate doing that. So I think it's come on really well. Very pleased with that. Again, done on 32 count even weave. And I know the colour of that one. It's from Fabric Flare. Sorry, the other one is from Fabric Flare as well. But the colour of this one is Piglet. Ha ha ha. Irony. My child thinks they're all bad guys and I stitched it on Piglet. 2 whips I found that I never showed you before. Remember a couple of videos ago, I think it was 2 ago, my reintroduction video, I spoke about the Russian kit that I had bought, and I said I had another one, and I found it. And it's it's a triptych, but it's 4. So I don't know what that, a quadtich, I don't know what that's called. But I'll show you the 2 I've done so far, and they're beautiful. I think it's really lovely. They're lilies and it's bead embroidery. So this is the first one that I have finished. See, it's printed onto the fabric, and then you just stitch on all of the beads. I'll show you in the one that I'm currently doing. You can see how it's marked out. That's the first one. It's quite heavy, but the fabric is quite heavy, and it's like it's felt on the back, so it's not bad. And you just attach them using back stitch. It's quite simple to do once you don't spill the beads all over the floor. Ask me how I know. So that's the first one, and then this was the second one. Again, I finished that one too. There you go, lovely. I love the 2 different colours of green. I think they're lovely. And then there's 2 more to do, and the 2 more that are left are long, and that's upside down. They're long, so that's one of them that I have started, and then this one I haven't started at all. This is the 4th one. So you'll have 4 pictures of the red lilies, and I was hoping to frame these and then hang them up. But you can see in this one that I'm doing, I've started, I have this part of it here done. But if I hold it up, you can see how it's marked out for the beads to be placed. You see, you've got the different coloured dots. So, you know, each colour is pretty. You wouldn't even need a chart. Like, you don't even need this chart to tell you which bead to use, because you can see by the colours of them. You have your dark red, your light red, and then I really don't like these peachy coloured beads. They're different shape than the rest of them, and I don't like the way they sit on the fabric. And then you have your 2 different shades of green, and you just backstitch along in your rows. It's quite easy to do. So why it hasn't been finished is a mystery. It's probably because you have to sit there with the little tubs of beads on your knee, and they go everywhere. So that's that whip that I should really finish. And I know I've seen loads of people actually recently on, not so sure if it's Stitch Mania, might be the Heaven and Earth Designs group. There's one woman who's been doing heids with beads, and they look brilliant. But knowing what I know from having done them, first of all, getting your shades of bead right, particularly for a haid, I think would be very difficult. And then the other thing is, I think I'd be demented, because you'd have like just one bead of this colour here. You know the way you have your confetti stitches? I know it drives you demented when it's the using floss as well, but I don't know how that will go. But I haven't seen what she's done though. They're beautiful. They're on the Facebook group for Haid. You should have a look if you haven't seen them. They're really, really good, but I don't know if I'd ever do it. The other whip I have is something that I bought when I was young and naive and stupid in the world of cross stitch. I think I bought it from AliExpress, China, and it was this kit. Now I really love the picture. You've got 4 different colours. The only thing I don't like is the big bloody gap there and here. What's that all about? Could they not have matched up with a few more leaves? And they're 4 different pieces, and you attach them together and you make one big picture. I just thought it was cute, and I got it for half nothing. I can't remember now how much it was, but it was very little for me to take a punt on it anyway. And it's a whole kit, so it came with all the flosses, which is great. Even if I wouldn't have even bought the floss for the money. But when it arrived, this is what it comes on. So it's printed on the fabric like this, but it's super stiff, and it's 11 count. Like, it's huge. I mean, you see the sizes of the holes. And you have to use 3 strands. Now, I only did, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bobbles of the leaves. And I kind of went, because it was torturous pulling the needle through this horrible hard fabric. Maybe if I wash it, that'll all come off. And I don't fancy following a chart in Chinese. But this is it. So that was one of them, you can see. And there's like 3 others of the different colours. Maybe I'll go back to it again, but if I do, I'll start it again, because I made an I mean, I know it looks okay from the front, and that one looks terrible. They look okay from the front, but I made bags of them in the back. So like that's the rest of them there. But oh, I don't know. Life is very short. You're stitching something that you don't like the feel of, isn't it? I don't know. Maybe I won't. Maybe I'll just keep the floss and give it away to somebody if they want it. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I'm ever going to go back and stitch it, so maybe not. So if anybody would like it, obviously minus the floss, but I'll post you the fabric and the chart if you want it. Leave a comment and let me know if you do. Excuse me. Now, what other whips? So that was my whips. I had a start. I said the last time I really wanted to start the Sew to Stitch Ice Cream Village, so I did. This is my piece. Now I hope this is big enough, because I started doing one of them and I'm kind of going, but like I measured it and it meets the measurements on the pattern. But anyway, this is where I've gotten so far on this, and I have my upside down white rabbit from Minding My Minders. It's my bowl of ice cream. Nothing really too spectacular to show there, but it's going well. It's very fun. I love the bright colours in it. It's really nice to use primary bright colours like that. Particularly I love that shade, the orangey shade, lovely. Makes you want ice cream. So that's where I am on that. So it's something I'm pootling about with when I get sick of doing the Disney villains, because I'm getting pressure from my daughter to finish that. And you know, when you're under pressure to do something, it's the last thing you want to do. So yeah, that's my ice cream village. I've no haul because I've been a good girl and I haven't gone shopping. I have a wish. I love sheep. Everything about sheep. I think it stems from me being a knitter. I kind of collect sheep, you know, little cheap things. I have loads of them all over the house. I love them. Fluffier the better. The more stupid the expression on their face, the better. And somebody showed, I can't even, I really am so bad at this. I must make a resolution to write down the names of these people because they deserve the credit. But somebody in a video showed a pattern by who I can't remember, and it's called Judge Not, and it has loads of sheep on it, and it says, I think, judge not, for thou shalt not wish to be judged or something, whereas I would say it as judge not lest you be judged. Not so wild about the sentiment, but loved the sheep. So don't know if I'll get it. It's kind of started me thinking I want to do a bit of a pattern trawl and find me some sheep to stitch. Stupid sheep. Yeah, I think I'll have to do that. And we'll see. That's my wish list, so you never know. What else? Oh yes, no knitting has been done. Shock. Because I've been just stuck into doing that Disney villains. I find it very hard to divide my time. Some people are great. I see loads of people that do rotations where they'll either work on one thing each day or they'll work on multiple things for just like a certain amount of time each day. I don't know how you do it, because I find I start something and I get going and I just keep going. I'm very much a monogamous crafter, I think. Don't know if I'll ever get the hang of this multiple whips, but I am very much getting the hang of multiple starts. So maybe I'll just ergonomically enter into the world of rotation, because I'd hate to think I just start something and then it sits there like the bead embroidery. Yeah, not so good. So yes, knitting. The fountain pen shawl, I took it up the other day and said, right, I'm going to knit some on this. And I looked at it and I went, first of all, I couldn't remember where I was in the chart, because, you know, clever me, didn't write a note down and stick it in the bag to say what row it was on. So I was looking at the knitting to see where I was, and I looked at it and I went, that doesn't look right. No. I think what happened was I put it down before and I picked it back up, and I obviously started back in the wrong place in the chart, because then I'll start that again, because obviously that time I didn't write down where it was on the chart either, and I've gone wrong, so it looks brutal and I'm not having it. So I'm going to have to rip it back probably about 20 rows. It doesn't sound like a whole heap, but I know there's hundreds of stitches in each row, and I've yarn overs and knit two togethers and slip knits and slipped stitch overs, or as my like Meg Swanson and Elizabeth Simmons say, pursue. I've loads of those, so you really have to watch every stitch that you're ripping back. You can't just take it off the needles and go boom and pull it back. I have to go manually one by one. So I did about 2 rows of it ripping back, and I went, that's enough for today. And I said as I was putting away, I'm going to rip at least 2 rows every day until I get back to where I am. That was about 4 days ago. So I have to do that, because then I can get back into that. Because I really wanted to finish it, because it's lovely and it deserves to be finished. It doesn't deserve to sit languishing in an IKEA Ziploc bag. That's not fair. Let me think, what else have I got? Oh yeah, magazines. I know Cindy Lou Stitches goes through magazines every so often, and I do love to see other magazines, particularly like American ones that I can't get, you know. Although I do subscribe to Just Cross Stitch, but you don't get the Halloween one, which I'm still very tempted to buy, even though I know I'm not going to stitch out an outfit, but I'm still very tempted to get it. But I had these two. This is Cross Stitcher and The World of Cross Stitching that I had picked up in moments of weakness. And I don't really know why I do this, because my library offers a service where through Zinio you can get these magazines for free. Yet I still find, well, actually you don't get The World of Cross Stitching, but I will get Cross Stitcher, and I get Cross Stitch Crazy for free. I know the only thing you miss out on is the free gift, so I don't really know why I've picked them up, but I did. I think it's because of what you see. So this one, this Cross Stitcher, September 2017, came with this free gift, which I think is really sweet. A little kit to make your own little cottage needle case. I think that's very sweet. I love the little doggy, reminds me of Fenrir, look. So I might stitch that. And in this, there was a couple of patterns that I liked, and I think that's why I probably bought it. What page? So I'm just going to show you the two that I really liked. This is one. It took me ages to figure out they were elephants. Can you see them? I just love the colours. It's so Arabian, Persian. It's, you know, like a Bedouin elephant. I love it. So don't like it on a cushion. This British magazines are mad for cushions. Everything gets stuck on a cushion. Like that's on a cushion with all these bloody pom-poms all around the edge of it. I mean, they wouldn't last 5 minutes before they'd be picked off in my house by me or my agitated teenage daughter or the dog and chew it. And like the same with the one on the cover. Look, more cushions with pom-poms. Everything gets chucked on a bloody cushion in the UK. Don't understand it. I'll show you the one from the cover now. Don't know if I'd stitch it. The only thing I did like was the birdie and the deer. I like the stylized thing. Don't like an apple. No thanks. Don't think I'd stitch that. Don't know. It is attractive, you know, but I don't think I'd stitch it. And like they've always got loads of bizarre things in them as well. Let me see. Sorry about this, because I don't want to show any charts. Where's those things I wanted to show? Here they are, page 57. Now, these are cards, and I thought they were really cute. Little doggies. Look. Too cool for cats, but I don't like pugs. I ain't going to stitch that. This one, hot dog. Must stitch. My daughter is obsessed with dachshunds. Obsessed. All she talks about is getting a dachshund. The problem is you never see dachshunds in rescue centres. And I am not buying a dog. There are so many dogs out there that need a home. I will never purchase a dog and encourage puppy breeding. So she's not going to get a dachshund from me unless we miraculously find one in a rescue centre, upon which it will go up my sleeve and we will bring it home immediately. But so I'm going to stitch her that. I'll probably change the sentiment, and I could make that like a little Christmas jumper. Couldn't I? Make a little Christmas jumper and stitch it for her for Christmas. She'd love that because it's super cute. And then you have Pretty Pooch, bone the hair. Not into that now on dogs. Like him, puppy love. Look, Scruff. That's my kind of dog. A dog who's lived a life and then been forced into wearing an icky Argyle sweater for his troubles. But I like him. He looks like he's got a story to tell. So yeah, I definitely stitch him. But the dachshund needs to be stitched. More cushions. Why What is going on? Is there a cushion shortage in the UK that everything has to be made into a cushion because of it? I don't get this at all. I'm so ranty about cushions, but I just don't see the point. I mean, they get filthy. You can't throw them in the washing machine because they'd be cross-stitched. Why would you bother? So, yeah, that was my cross-stitcher. Then I've got the World of Cross Stitch. These ones never say what month they're on, but I know it's issue 259. But I only just bought it, so I know it's the current one. Excuse me, the free gift that came with this was 3 Christmas cards. Cutie, cutie, but they're cats. I'm not really a cat lover. I'm not going to stitch them. So I might do a little, maybe I'll have a little giveaway between the Chinese one and these. Maybe I will. Because I found these as well. Now this is obviously from the same issue this time last year, and I never stitched them. But aren't they sweet? They remind me of Margaret Sherry. She designs loads of cute little mice patterns like this. I thought they're cute. Especially your man in the middle with his little Santy hat. I think I'll probably stitch them. I'm not going to stitch these because I don't like cats. So, there's 2 things. Will we do a giveaway? I think we might. Okay, I have to think as I'm going through this video what hoop I shall make you jump through to qualify for the giveaway. I don't know. But anyway, back to the World of Cross Stitching. So that was the free gift. There was a couple of things I liked in this one. That's page 36. Love this one. Who's this by? Leslie Tier. Oh, isn't that gorgeous? Kind of reminds me of Joan Elliott. Looks like a Joan Elliott, doesn't it? If you were asked to pick that out of a lineup, you'd say that was a Joan Elliott, I think. Isn't that gorgeous? Love that. Probably will stitch that. And if I do, it'll be my first time with beads. Because I've never done a Mirabilia or a Nora Corbett or a Joan Elliott. I'm so unworthy to be a cross stitcher. Maybe I'll stitch that. I'll have to have a look and see all this approximate stitching time, 45 hours. You can at least double that for me, I think. But I do like it. Maybe it's because the seahorse kind of primary colours. God, I wonder could you change them and make it into a rainbow? Or would that look really, not really gay, that's an awful way to say, but you know what I mean. Would that look really obvious, like that you were trying to make a statement? I don't know. So that was that one. What else am I looking for that I wanted to show? Oh yes, they've loads of Halloween stuff in this too. 84. I'll go to the Halloween. They always do like a little library of motifs in this as well. Here's the Halloween ones. Be cute. Skeleton. Trick or treat. He looks like me first thing in the morning before my coffee. I don't know what that was. What's that said? Izzy's treats. Nah. Like the cauldron. Oh, it's not a cauldron. It's a potion bottle. I'm demented. Come to a party. I love the hand. Isn't that cool? Really like that. Oh, and a little owl. Always have to have an owl. What else have we got? Spooky tree. All the glow in the dark. I've never stitched a glow in the dark thread. Don't know. I kind of like it like that, I think. That's your owl again and your potion. What else is here that's different? This one. Don't like the expression on his face really. There are loads more, but I can't show you them because they're in charts on the page. This is a cool pair of witch's legs and boots. Oh yeah, I thought this one was funny. Without being too critical, this is Doreen Jones. I'm not really a Doreen Jones kind of fan. Some of her stuff is lovely, but I'm not into like cutesy. But this one, life is what you bake it. All the mice, yeah. If there's mice in the kitchen, I ain't baking in it. So I'm not so sure that was the best choice of character to put when you're talking about food. This, I like this. I have to cover the bottom half because there's a chart on it. On the previous page it shows you how to make a pin cushion. And then in this one it has a needle holder and this cover for a craft notebook. Like that a lot. Might stitch that and stick it onto the front of my cross stitch kind of diary. I think that would be a good idea, wouldn't it? And then the last one I wanted to show is this one. This Halloween one by Maria Diaz. Like this. What's it called? Trick or Treat Surprise. But isn't that nice? Love the hubble bubble down the bottom, and I love the house in the middle, and the witch's hat, the witch's legs, and I like that. I think that's really cute. That's something I could see myself potentially stitching sometime. So yeah, that was probably, oh yes, bonus dash hunt. Every month they do this weird thing, Pets of the Month, and Doreen Jones designs a chart. It's a dash hunt. So I might have to do that. Yeah, I might have to do that for Alice as well. We'll see. So that's the world of cross stitching. There is more in it, but it's not anything I would be stitching. So that's that. Super quick magazine review. I'd say when I look back in this video, I probably blocked out the camera for half of that because I tend to flail around a bit. Reminds me of YouTube video I saw this morning of the Real Housewives of Cross Stitch. And she has a big sign behind the camera saying, "Sit still." And I just thought, I should really have that too. Leave your hair alone. That should be my sign, because I'm always at my hair, haven't I? And doing this, I know my defaults. So yeah, let's see, what else did I have? Yes, a question. For all you knowledgeable stitchers out there, I'm desperate to start my Crowns of the Kingdom. I have said this ad nauseum. And I told you, I bought the fabric from 123 Stitch that it said, because see, in the pattern it doesn't tell you the size of fabric, it just tells you how many stitches wide and how many stitches high. But on 123 Stitch, I think it's a great feature that they have, where underneath the pattern you can click and get all the threads and all the fabric that you need. So I clicked and got the fabric. And I hope I'm doing this right, because it's made me concerned. Can you see those two pins? I counted the stitches, and this is how much I'll have at the edge. So it says to start 3 inches in and 3 inches down. And if I do that, I don't have enough width to stitch it. And if I do it this way, I don't have enough height to stitch what it says it's going to be. The fabric isn't big enough. I'm disgusted. So I thought, how narrow could I make the border and hopefully get away with it to fit it all in, because that's the width that it has to be. And then it's leaving me with that much, and it's very little. It's like 1.25 inches or something. And I know I'm not going to be able to frame it if I do that. So I have two questions. Number one is, should I stitch it this way and maybe, you know, sewing machine on some more fabric onto the side afterwards to be able to stretch it to frame it? Or should I stitch it 1/1, because I'm pretty sure it's stitched 2/1. Let me see. Sorry, I should have done this before I came in. Yeah, note, add 2 to 3 inches to all 4 sides to allow for centering, mistakes and framing. I can't do that. Stitched one strand over 2 threads. So it's stitched 1/2. Should I stitch it 1/1? If I do, won't that have the width, and that would give me loads of space? Or should I bite the bullet and get new fabric? 3 options. Option A, stitch 1/2 this way. Option B, stitch 1/1. Or option C, buy new fabric. Vote now. That's what I'll do for my giveaway. Vote and tell me what I should do. And out of all the people who tell me what I should do, I shall, well, if you're interested, you'll have to signal whether you're interested in my giveaway, okay? So, you have to do 2 things. You have to say, first of all, I would like the cats and the trees. And secondly, option A, stitch as is. Option B, stitch 1/1. Or option C, get new fabric. Not wild about option C, because it's more money, but I really want to start that as well, so we'll see. So let me know, okay? And I'll stick your name in a random number generator, and we'll pick a winner. Yeah, so let me see, in life, what's going on? I'm starting back to my final year of college. Friday week, the 15th, once a month for a Friday and a Saturday. I'm in college with my husband doing a business degree. Boring. And this is our final year. I am so done with this degree. Cannot wait for it to be finished. And it all, because then you have no stitching time. No life while it's on, because I have to do a dissertation this year on like the world's most boring topics. So that's this coming up soon. So I'm trying to cram in as much stitching as I can before that madness descends. Yeah, so that's it for my video. So if you want to, you can switch off now. But I also said to myself, to get properly immersely involved in this Flosstube world, I was going to do the Know Your Needleworker tag. So if you're interested, you can watch on, and if not, you can switch off and sayonara. But otherwise, I just thought everybody else shares so much about themselves, and you don't know anything about me, so why don't we do the Know Your Needleworker tag? So here we go. Question 1, where do you live? Well, I live in Dublin, the capital city of Ireland, in a suburb. I've lived here all my life, apart from a short period of time when I lived in a suburb further out in another county in Kildare. Hated living there, could not wait to move back here. Only moved there when we first got married because we couldn't afford a house here. My husband is from the other side of Dublin, so he upped sticks. I got a new passport and crossed over the Liffey and lives here with me. I've lived in this house, it'll be 16 years the end of this month. I love my house, very happy here. And then last year we bought a little escape away down in County Wexford in the southeast of Ireland. Love it. It's right beside the beach. It's so quiet. We've about an acre of land. We have a dairy farm around us and a wind farm just beyond him, so there's nothing else around us. It's so quiet and peaceful. I love it down there. That's where I plan to retire to. So that's where I live. Excuse me. Question 2, what do you do for a living? I'm a civil servant, so I work for the Irish government. I currently work in the Revenue Commissioners, which is the tax collectors, the Irish version of the US IRS. And I work in legislative services, so I write the legislation, I write the tax law. So the Department of Finance decides what they want, tax relief they want to bring in, which is what I used to do until February of last year when I moved over to here. So I'm doing the exact opposite of what I used to do. I used to decide the tax policy. Now I have to pony up the tax policy in law. It's very interesting. It's very dynamic. It's crazy busy around the budget, which is next month. So yeah, it's good. You deal with an awful lot of other government departments. You deal with the Attorney General to make sure that your legislation you write is constitutional. And you're very busy getting it passed through the houses of government. It's a very interesting job. So that's what I do. Do I have any other hobbies? Well, yes, I knit. And I try to sew. Knitting was my first hobby since 2007. So, 10 years. 10 years knitting this. And it's actually very close to this month because I started a knitting group locally 10 years ago this month. Wow, happy birthday to me. Sewing is something I'd love to do more of, but I don't seem to find the time. And half of what turns me off sewing is the setup, because I don't have the space. Like, Irish homes are nowhere near as large as American ones, and I don't have enough space to have a dedicated room for all of this stuff. So every time I have to go and get my sewing machine, take it out, clear the table in the living room, the dining table in the living room, and set up here. And you kind of have to get everything you want to get done that day so you can take it all down and put it all away so people can use the room again, and it's a pain in the face. So I don't tend to sew as much as I would like to. I'd love to have more space to be able to leave my sewing machine up, and then then you can just stroll in and sit down and start sewing. I'd love that, but ambitions for future. Do you have kids? Yes, I have one daughter, light of my life. She's 16. Just started fifth year in secondary school here, so she's got this year and next year, and then she'll be off to college. She's a great kid. And that's all I can say about her. She's just brilliant. She's mad, warped sense of humour, just like her mother and father, you know, there's no denying her, as my own. So number 5, do I have pets? Well, you saw my little stitchy buddy Fenrir. Love him so much. Would love to get him a little playmate. So if anybody knows of a dachshund in Ireland looking for a home, yeah, so that's my pet. What is my favourite movie? This is a tough question, because you know, you can have your favourite action movie, you can have your favourite suspense, your favourite courtroom drama, your favourite romantic movie. I find it very hard to pick one movie that's my favourite. The Notebook. I adore The Notebook. Absolutely adore it. And I don't know why I do, because it's so sad and it makes me cry so much because of my mother's dementia journey and now my father's dementia journey. Why do I put that myself through it? But it makes me cry so much, and I love Rachel Adams, and I love it. Or Mac Adams, love it. I love The Shawshank Redemption. I love 12 Angry Men. I love The King and I love musicals. I love Seven Brides for Seven Brothers. I love... I don't know. It's very hard for me to say a movie. I love Gone with the Wind so much. Love that movie. Yeah, it's hard for me to say. My favourite TV shows of all time or currently? Of all time, number 1, The West Wing. There's nothing else to be said. Greatest TV show ever made, ever. I have, just looking at my box sets there, I have watched The West Wing from start to finish over a dozen times. I know it's because I work in politics, I suppose, but I adore The West Wing. Martin Sheen, I love you. Rob Lowe, I love you the most. Loved The West Wing. Second favourite, Boston Legal. James Spader is my... he's my guilty crush. Rob Lowe don't need to be guilty about, because he's just... James Spader is my guilty crush. So yes, The Blacklist is one of my favourite current TV shows. Boston Legal is brilliant. It has everything. It has William Shatner, who's incredibly funny in it. It has James Spader. It has so many other brilliant actors. Such good storylines. I loved Boston Legal. I have every episode. I've watched them several times. Other favourite TV shows. Well, I'm watching Game of Thrones. Can't say I can talk to you about it all, because I find it quite confusing. Mostly because I'm stitching or knitting while I'm watching it. I find it hard to remember all the characters, but I do love it. Just finished the current season. Quite peeved at where it finished. Because I know there's only one more left. I hate it when a TV show finishes and there's not a nice neat little tie-up of everything. Really hate that. What other TV shows do I watch regularly? I watch Holby City, which is a BBC medical drama. I used to watch Code Black. I must get back into that. I wonder, is that still on? I really like Code Black. What other TV shows do I like? The Great British Sewing Bee. Love that. Great British Bake Off. Love that. What else do I have up there? Well, Band of Brothers. The Pacific. That's really it. I don't watch a whole heap of TV anymore. Banal, guilty pleasure, mortified to be admitting this, TV that I love to watch is Blue Bloods. Like that. It's, you know, wallpaper TV. If you miss 15 episodes, it won't matter. You can just start watching it again. So yeah, I'd watch that too. Yeah, that's kind of it. My favourite music genre? 1980s. Shadow of a Doubt was my musical heyday. I was obsessed with music when I was a teenager. Lived for Thursday nights, 7 o'clock, BBC One, Top to Pops. Loved it. But it doesn't reflect my favourite music artist. That's Paul Simon, my one and only, my absolute favourite. I love him so much. I don't know how many times I've seen him in concert now, to the point where his band know me and they wave at me whenever they come to Ireland. That's sad. His music lifts me, just takes me to places. His lyrics resonates really strongly with me. I love him so much. He's brought me through some really hard times in my life, and some really good times. He just speaks to me. I love him. Who else did I love? I loved the late George Michael. God rest him. I loved him. And Aha, a Norwegian band, Total Gumball Pop, but they got really good when they got older and they weren't as famous. I've seen them several times too, loved them. Yeah, favourite book, Count of Monte Cristo, Alexandre Dumas. Love that book. I don't know how many times I've read it. It's such a great story of intrigue and revenge and adventure. It's great. Love that book. I read a lot. Used to, don't read as much as I used to, but I'm trying to get back into it. I'm forcing myself every single night now to put my iPad down and read a few pages. And what I like to read, Kathy Reichs, Stephen King, Leon Uris, a novelist that I think he's passed away, but he wrote some brilliant books. Cynthia Freeman is another novelist I haven't heard of for donkey's years, and I love her books. I have them all upstairs. Who else do I love? I read a book recently called The Goldfinch by Donna Tartt, Tartt, terribly unfortunate surname, but a brilliant book. It was really good, The Goldfinch. I'd recommend that. I don't read kind of particularly heavy stuff, purely because when my work is very heavy, you know, it's very technical legalese, examining individual tax cases. Do they comply with the law? Are they evading tax law? And then being in college, I get sick and tired of reading stuffy prose and literal, you know, non-fiction stuff. So I don't do that. So I just kind of like a book that helps me escape. And this one I found the hardest. This is the last question. It's called One Word That Best Describes You. I don't know. I don't know. Like funny, lucky, certainly. I don't know. I don't know what. How can you sum yourself up in one word? People are such complex beings. Hopefully that's enough spoof talk to get me out of that. I don't know. Maybe lucky is the right one. So that's it. So I don't think there's anything else to say until next time. I'm going to maybe go through a couple of those books that I mentioned a couple of videos ago that I snatched from the clutches of a second-hand bookstore. Maybe we'll go through a couple of them next time. So please leave me comments about my Crowns to the Kingdom and let me know if you would like to win the little card kit and the Chinese cross stitch canvas and pattern, not the threads. And we'll see how it goes. Okay, I'll maybe, what's today? Today's the 5th, isn't it? So if we give 10 days, so the 15th of September, and I'll pick a winner. And until then, happy stitching. Bye.